Greetings everyone, welcome to Datagaps webinar. I am Puja Gupta, Growth Marketing Manager at Datagaps, and I would like to thank you all for joining us today. Welcome everyone to our product innovation update, Datagaps DataOps Suite version 2025.3.0.0. Today we'll showcase how the latest release empowers teams with faster pipelines, smarter governance, and secure data. From fault-tolerant parallel execution to built-in P2 masking, this update is packed with innovations to help you scale with confidence. And now let's dive into the highlights and explore how these new capabilities can transform your data operations. For this, on the panel today, we have Jinesh Jayesan, Director of Technology at Datagaps, and Ramesh Kovvuru, Product Manager at Datagaps. And with this, I hand this over to Jinesh and Ramesh. Hey Jinesh, stage is all yours.
Right. Thanks, Puja. And hi, everyone. I'm Jinesh. And as Puja mentioned, that this is the webinar about all the features and the updates which we have for 2025.30 features at the high level, which are added under 3.0, and what's new, we will be finding it out once you upgrade to 3.0. And in the agenda today, we have the platform updates, which I'll be taking over. And Ramesh is my colleague who will be going over on the product updates and walking you through what's coming up in the next releases in this year, and followed by the question and answer session. So let's quickly get into the platform update side. And in this section, primarily, we'll be looking out in these major areas where we have on the data sources, what are the new additions there and what's there for the Git side, and coming to the pipeline. And at the end of this platform updates, we'll be quickly looking into that what you are going to get when you upgrade to 3.0 and what we'll be having there in the reports and monitoring for you. So let's get started with the session from the data sources part. Coming to the data sources, as we add, keep on adding the new sources and support for different data sources in each of the releases. This time we have SAP ASE, the Sybase data source connectivity, and AS400, IBM AS400 data sources, this JDBC data source integration in DataOps Suite. So that enables you for having these data sources connected and to be performed. You can perform the end-to-end testing on it. You can do a data quality checks and rest of all the operations which we have for the data flows, DB flows, and different features where you can use these data sources. And along with that, this is like a long pending ask we had that to support for the SharePoint location, the files which are in the SharePoint, how I can utilize them and to validate in using the DataOps Suite. So now you have that integration available. So the files which are present in the SharePoint, you can connect to it through the file component, and you can run the end-to-end test. You can do the different data quality checks or different use cases. So all is possible now for these three integrations, mainly on the data sources. And with that, let's quickly jump into the next enhancement which we have. It's the data sources sync across the containers. So what exactly does it mean? So it's like we create a data source in one container and I want to use it in another container. And typically it would be the use cases where I'm working on a lower environment. Let's say I'm working on dev or feature environment, where I have to connect to a new data sources, a source and the target, and I create my own set of test cases. Now, test cases, we can, let's say data flow, right? So we can migrate either using the Git, so from one container to another container, let's say from dev to QA or from feature to QA. But when it comes to the data sources, the options are we have to export one data source and import it to the other data sources. So that's the problem statement. Now, with this option, you should be able to sync the data sources from one container to multiple containers, which you have access to. So with that, this migration use cases, let's say, or this test cases which has to be promoted to the next environments, it becomes seamless. So you don't need to worry about in exporting, importing the data sources into multiple containers. Simply you can sync it. So let's quickly look into this in the action in the product. So here in the data sources, I have this option. So these are my some sample data sources created in this container, and I just can do sync data sources. And here I can select one or multiple, and as well as these are the containers which I have access to, and simply I can move it between the containers. And I have an option whether we want to, if the data sources are already existing, what do you want to do it? Do you want to keep the same, or if you want to override the version with the new parameters or the new fields which you have defined? So with that, you get these two options to do that. So this will help you out in seamless migration of your test cases across the containers. And coming to the next feature here. Yeah. So this is about workflow safe data source renaming and deletion. So in previous releases, there is a problem. Like, let's say, if I change the data sources and the data sources used in any of the data flows or the DB flows, there was a problem that we have to go and update each of the data flows as the data sources are names are changed, that it just wasn't reflecting at the data flows. So now we have added this auto correction, auto healing feature in the data sources. So if you rename any of your data source which is there to match with maybe the other containers as well, the data flows are going to run seamless. You don't need to go to each of the data sources, data flows, and make those changes. So that's just one update here. And as well as when you are deleting any of the data sources, we are giving an option if you want to, if you're sure that okay, this is not being used, and otherwise you can map it to another data sources. So these are the pretty much three major enhancements on the data sources side, which will help you out in so ease of migration cases as well as the new addition of the data sources. Now let's move to the next section. It is about what the CI/CD and Git conflict comparison view. And with this, when in the Git conflict pages primarily, earlier we didn't have an option to see what exactly is changed. So when you get a conflict, it's like I have some changes in my local and I'm pulling some same data flows from the remote. Now both the versions have changes, right? So that's where we used to get the conflict. Now, how do we know? How do we find it out? Like, okay, what is coming there? Maybe someone else has changed it and pushed it to remote. Now it is coming in my local. How I proceed further with this? So let's quickly look into it. The Git functionality, how it's gonna help you out to find out the data differences there and to help you out with knowing the changes there. So this is the Git conflict screen, and here these are the new additions which we have. And once you see, so this is the view where it will be showing the left side is your current changes and right side is your remote changes. These are the incoming ones. And here it shows that out of this data flow, one component has some change, and we can look into it and see the JSON differences. So here, if you see that there is one property was off here, and then that got enabled here. So this is the JSON comparison view. You are gonna get it, and in upcoming releases, as we are continuously working on the CI/CD epics, basically. So here you're gonna get the merge view as well. So what are the changes you want to take the current view or the next view? So those are gonna come up in the next release that Ramesh will anyways walk you through on the high level. But yeah, this is what it's gonna be. And coming to the, and similar to that, now we have a utility also there. So where you can upload different set of the data flows, either your current version or any other versions of the same data flow if you want to compare it. So here you can paste that specific data flow JSON, or you can just simply export from the DataOps Suite, or you can get it from the Git, and those any version of the data flows you should be able to compare it over here. So this is one more addition on this Git comparison, as well as the comparison utility view. Now, going ahead with the so this is a very major enhancement which we have in the pipeline area. So now we have addition of the no-dependency pipeline, and this will be very useful if you have a use case where you want to have the pipeline where all the tasks run in parallel. The creation of the pipeline is very easy, as well as it consists of a comprehensive results view. And let's take a quick look into it, and then we can talk about it as we go. And so here is my pipeline, and here is the differentiation. Basically, this is my dependency pipeline, and this is my no dependency pipeline. Just a quick check is here. It defines, like, while creation, you can just choose what to be, and based on your use case, whether it has to be like have a dependency on one after another, it has to run on the sequential flow, then there is a whole pipeline you have to choose. But yeah, when all the tasks can run in parallel, definitely this will be a better option. And so this is the view of the pipeline, new pipeline, how it looks typically the test plan look, and adding the data flows and the DB flows and other features are also ultra easy. Just you have to select, you can select one, or you can select in bulk, and you can add it, and it enables you to select some of the tasks. If you don't want to run all of it, you can run the task selectively, and also if there are a lot of tasks which are added, then you can search it across on top of the search bar, and all the other features which we there in the old pipeline. There's a dependency based pipeline, like the pipeline parameters and notifications, everything remains the same. And let's quickly go to the result view of it. And when we are talking about the performance, it is having a better fault tolerance, and then better performing altogether. So we can look into that too. And when it comes to the result, so this is the result view of the pipeline run, and this is the summary view where you can see how many total run, how many data flows failed, and along with that, a tabular view of here. So here it shows the task view. Here you can see the data compare view also, like specifically the data comparison, how many pass, how many fails, and all those at the component level, it can give you the details here. And as well as if you want to look into the data for any of the data flow, we don't need to go to the data flow run page to look into it. Everything is available in one view itself. So in this screen, you'll get your data flow results. In the same, you'll be able to get your DB flow results, and even the data model high level view. You'll be able to get it. So this is the beauty of the new pipeline, and it's very easy to create. It's easy to view and visualize, and rest all the notification and all those feature remains exactly the same. And okay, so being said that, now let's move on to the next enhancement which we have on the pipeline side is the addition of the webhook. And what exactly it does? So the requirement is whenever the pipeline execution is done, we wanted to have some of the let's say downstream job to be triggered automatically, not to poll and find it out whether the pipeline is done. And so that's what is the webhook is for. And here we can in this webhook view, basically you can create a data flow which can do any of the custom tasks. Either you want to make a REST API call, or you want to have any other let's say any other job to be triggered in. So if those you can write the custom task specifically, and as soon as the pipeline is completed, those tasks will be triggered. So that is what the pipeline webhook is. And next we have is the reports and the monitoring. And yeah, continuously we are working on the enhancement of the reports and the monitoring in all the releases. So in this release now we have, let me quickly show it over here. In the previous releases, we have added curated reports, which were for data flows till pipeline. And these are the default view of the features which was added earlier. Now we have enhanced it to extend the view for you to find it out. What is the usage? So it's the usage stats which is added here, and here you can find it out what so what till what extent the usage of your DataOps suite is. So how many, so this is the starting from the license info to the user logins and how many overall logins and the unique logins you had. Who all are logging into the DataOps suite, and those history you can find it out here. As well as the user activity on the feature level also is available here, like how many at a specific time, how many updates are happened, how many viewed, and what time also most of this are used. So this usage activities you can find it out, and then here you can find your top contributors or who's working more on the features creation and all. So those all information at under one hood, you'll be able to find it out. And continuation on the monitoring, we have the app health in screen. So this part enhanced, where we can see. So this is typically to the DataOps server. That what what is your CPU usage, what is the RAM usage, and the disk spaces. You can find it out, and then any of the long running queries in the repository, those will be listed here, and you can kill it from here as well. Like if something is holding up for long, and the other features you can see here is if you want to know that repository, if it is so what are the tables which are taking more space in your repositories, those you'll be able to find it out. And yeah, so this is pretty much it. It will be quite helpful for all the admins to track how exactly your system is behaving or that applications are behaving here. So that's going to be a very good add-on for them. And yeah, with that, the monitoring part's done, and then next we will jump into product updates. So Ramesh, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Jinesh. So, hi everyone. So I'll be taking care of the product updates, what we added in the 3.0.0 release of DataOps Suite. So we divide our products into three categories, like ETL Validator, BI Validator, and data quality. So when it comes to ETL Validator, we have developed this PI data masking. It's a long ask from the customers that how to hide, like how to mask the PI data without exposing to end users. That is one thing, and we have developed Excel read component where we can read Excel files with multiple sheets. Either can select one sheet or multiple sheets. Depends on their requirement, and we do have this code agent where we support generating the transformations using the SQL procedures. So let me get into these things in a high level. So PI masking, like as I mentioned, right? So protect the sensitive data, where we mask our while reading the data itself, we mask the data whichever is identified as PI. So I'll just show you this. So let's say this is a query which I'm about to read, and once I enable this PI masking, so you'll be seeing this the first name and last name and email things got masked with the hash value. So this is where without that enablement, this you will be seeing the full data. Once you enable the masking feature in our application, you will be seeing the mask hash data where no one can identify what the exact value is. So this is one of the feature which we developed based on the customer ask. And when it comes to Excel file read, this is the next enhancement in ETL Validator is the Excel file read. So this is a component which we developed here. So Excel file. So here you can just simply select the data source and you can get into the step. And you will be seeing the moment you select a file, so you'll have option to see what all the sheets present in that particular Excel file. And you will have an option to see the preview of it between different sheets, and you will have an option to select what sheet you wanted to get into what sheet you wanted to read and process for further validation or for data quality checks or anything. It can be for data comparison. All the processing can be done once you start executing this component. The other one, which is a major feature, and it's like a epic thing which we developed, where to generate this transformation checks using the SQL processor. So ideally, these ETL mapping documents, SQL procedures, and all that. Not everyone will be having the ETL documents where they can define the transformations, and that can be used for processing things and all. So we came up with a solution for those customers who doesn't have this ETL mapping documents, but have the procedures of what defines this document. So that where this will help us. Like, so in our mapping manager, we have a section where user can provide the SQL query in this fashion, and they can simply click on generate mappings, where the AI agent behind tries to analyze that SQL query, like SQL procedure, and tries to generate the transformations, which can be imported into the data model, and transformations checks can be generated after that, and even the data quality rules can also be generated after that. This is how this code agent runs behind in the mapping manager. So that's where I end with the ETL validator enhancements. Next, I jump into the BI validator enhancements, wherein we added support for STP was there in previous releases, where we used to run it over the standalone engines, which has some limitations over the user behavior. Like, let's say the standalone engine can be supported till like 300 user behavior on top of the environment. So this Kubernetes engine will help the end users to have a more load on top of the machine, which enables identify at what point the environment can break. So you will be having an option in this fashion in the STP, where you will have a selection of engines. So we do support standalone if for limited loads. If someone who wants to extend their load and all, they can go ahead with Kubernetes, and they can select the respective engine and execute that STP, like stress test plan, which executes for like bunch of reports all the time, and you can see so how many reports it is it has selected, and how many times each is running, and what are the average open time, and if any filters or the filter time, max open and min open, the number of runs it has executed in that time period. And here you can see, right, for this particular run, I have used 1200 users. So as I mentioned, right, standalone has a limitation of 300, but where it comes to Kubernetes, which can be extended to any extent, so users can increase the hardware according to their requirement, wherein they can increase the number of user load on top of the environments. So this is one major thing on the BI side. And coming to the next part of BI thing, so coming to previous releases, we do have support for Power BI reports and Tableau reports. Now we have enhanced the support of Oracle Analytics as well. So in the STP, so you can have an option to select a Power BI report, Tableau report, and Oracle Analytics according to the customer requirements. And when it comes to the third option, like so this is one of the good feature I can say. Why? Because in the previous releases, even though the Tableau supports database connection, which doesn't need to log in UI or in the backend, which runs over the JWT things and all, but still with the certain limitations, we used to ask the end user to log in our browser for one time, so that we can embed the reports, embed the Tableau reports. So with the latest addition, once user starts using the Tableau direct trust connection authentication for Tableau report reading or report validation or STP, there's no requirement of logging in by the end user. Whatever the authentication details provided by end user will be validated, and all the reports and everything will be rendered in the UI without any more user interaction is needed. So that's where these are the major enhancements we have it in BI Validator for this release. And when it comes to the data quality section, so there was an ask like, so we do have data quality thing, and we calculate, we execute rules and we find bad data, and so we have these things from a long back, but there is no way where a end user can see where I'm like a consolidated place where they can see what are all the rules he is associated with, and where they can see the open records, where the resolved records are like. There will be some records which can be ignored as it's not a bad data according to their standards and all things. So we came up with the DQ issue management section where user can track their bad data as well as fix their data, and they can even monitor that data real time, like we used to show like what was the bad data you have in previous runs, what is the bad data you have it in your current run, and what's the average resolution data like time of these bad data and all. So I'll quickly show you this thing. So you can see that issue management, like data quality issue management in the data quality section, wherein you can see I have these data models associated with me. So I'll just cover the other part of this. The prerequisite for this issue management is I should be the owner of the table or the data model. So whoever is the owner of the table or data model can see their bad data and how the data is being tracked, like what are open and what are closed, and all these things can be tracked by the owner of that particular table. So that is another piece which we developed. So if you see, right, I have a data model and a schema is being part of it and a table, and this table has like 4 rules. And in each one of the rule, like, so I have like 147 open and resolved at 30. Let's say first time I have ran it, I got like 180 bad records. So later on someone, like the data steward or the data analyst or the data engineer got and get into it and fix the issues. And next time when I am running it for the second time, now I see my open records are like 150. So out of 150, so that the respective person feels that, okay, out of these things, there are a couple of issues or like a couple of records, which is which is not a bad data. So those can be excluded. So user will have an option to select the particular record and they can move it to ignored section, which will be ignored while calculating the scores of the rule in the subsequent runs. In the same fashion, whenever they fix it and they run it, right? So if that particular bad data which is fixed in the subsequent run will be seen in the resolve section. And you can even see when it got identified and what is the exact resolution date, and average resolution of all the resolved records can be tracked over here. Okay, so this is one of the good feature where end users or the data stewards analysis can track their data quality and the bad data, how it is getting resolved, and all these things can be part of it. And so coming to the second part of it, so yeah, previously this bad data tracking and all we used to support only for Postgres work schema connection. So now we extended this support for Snowflake as well. So now users can store this bad data in the Snowflake, and they can even they can track over this management, as well as they can report over the Snowflake database directly to create BI reports. So the third part of it, which I already mentioned, right? So we can add owner to a data model, which will associate the same owner to all the tables what is inputted in the data model, as well as we can define multiple owners to a table, or even we can add a respective tags based upon the table or the sector which the table belongs to, or the schema which that thing belongs to. So in the owner section in the table settings, you can even add multiple owners as well, so that the one who actually works on the data manipulation can also be part of it, as well as the owner of the table or the data steward who wants to just manage it, or the manager who wants to just analyze what is happening and all can also be part of, can also be a owner for this thing, so that he can also see the high level dashboard and all things for the issue management. So that's on the product update side, team. And next on the future upcoming features, what we are about to do in the upcoming releases are like enhanced agentic AI support. So we do have agents now which are limited to certain PS sections, but we are extending it to support everywhere where all the key components start utilizing the agentic approach and start using AI to reduce the manual effort, enhance the accuracy and performance, and a lot of capabilities. So we are utilizing all the AI capabilities using this approach. And the other one on the platform side is a report test plan. So as of now, what we have is like we can create a data flow from a report we can select a report and we can execute and we can have the data comparison or report comparison. We can see the results out there. So the report test plan gives you a view where it's a top-down approach, where you can have all a report-centric view of all the data flows. Let's say you'll be having a view of a report and associated data flows and what the status of it and how many passed and failed. So this is how it will be. And when it comes to Git conflict resolution, yeah, as my colleague mentioned, that resolution we have like Git conflict screen where you show the differences. Now you'll have an option to solve this, whether you to accept or to exclude it while merging the things. And the schema drift and tracking is one thing which we are developing in the upcoming release as well. And when it comes to the product side, the things which I mentioned was platform features which is about to come, but these are the product features. So here we are about to introduce a BI Analyzer. Previous releases we have Tableau Analyzer where we analyze a Tableau workbook and we have few rules which can be recommended, and we evaluate that and we show the status that okay, this report is having these things and all. Now we are enhancing the same thing for Power BI reports as well. So we analyze the report, we diagnose it, like we optimize these things and we analyze and we recommend rules and we show the data model information, used columns, unused columns. A lot of analysis on top of the report is developed. And BI catalog and visual analysis. So BI catalog is something like where end users can have a mapping between report to the data flows, what is being created in our application, as well as visual validation. So this is one of the customer asks which we are seeing from long back. Like, so whenever I open a report, we extract data and we do data validation. But there was a ask from customers that I don't want all this data or all anything. I just want to understand whether the particular visual is correctly getting loaded or rendered or not, whether it is rendering or is it failing. So that is another piece which we are developing. And there is one interesting thing which is coming in Datagaps, that rendering a HTML view. So let's say, so with the use of AI and Python, there are a lot of things which has capability to generate the HTML content as an output. So let's say we go with profiling things, right? So Pandas has some profiling libraries which can generate a beautiful HTML report out of it by just processing the data. So we are now supporting to render that HTML directly in our UI. So user needs to just write a piece of code which generates the report, and that output will be presented in Datagaps UI itself. And one more thing we are about to develop is the Excel write component. So we do discussed about the Excel read thing, where we can read Excel files with different sheets and all. Now we are about to develop Excel write as well. So here in the Excel write, we can have writing a dataset to Excel file or multiple datasets into a single Excel file with different sheets and a lot of other operations. And we do support writing this to all different locations like S3, ADL, SharePoint, local locations. So that's it can be supported to all the endpoints. So this is where I end my presentation, team. And so yeah, any Q&A things? Yeah, over to you.
Yeah, sure. So we are open for Q&A sections, and we have a couple of questions in our Q&A section. So first is the synchronization of Git code with DG pipeline is bidirectional?
Yeah, Puja, so I can take up on that question. Yes, so whenever we have to work along with Git, so one thing is either we we can create the test cases and the pipelines in the data in in the DataOps Suite. You can push it to the remote branch and pull it to another container, right? And the same way is like another DataOps Suite version. And similarly, let's say if I have a fresh container and I want to start pulling it from another branch, I can simply sync up actually that whenever the container we enable it for the Git, it asks for the sync option. And as soon as it syncs, it would be like whatever is there in your remote, it tries to pull into your local, whatever is there in your local, it will be ready for the commit. So it's as any other product works, right? To work along with Git is the same flow which we have on the DataOps.
Great. Thanks, Jinesh. Next is, can you help me to understand the benefit of coming up with transformation from SQL query?
Let me take this up, Puja. So the current implementation was like we generate the transformations using the procedures, right? So as I mentioned, right, a lot of the customers doesn't have the ETL documents prepared and handy with them. So we introduce a flexibility to understand the query or the procedure and generate the transformations, how it gets from source to target migration. So we generate all the transformations. We generate the transformation checks as well using AI and help the end user to validate their data.
Thanks, Ramesh. Next is, for which use cases to go for no dependency pipeline?
Okay, this one I think I can take up. No dependency pipeline. So it is like when you have all your test cases to be run in parallel, right? And then whether we don't have to take that much of overhead of creating through the diagram, as well as like you don't have any dependencies you can choose for it. The thing is, like, if you have lot of tasks, let's say more than 1,000 tasks, if you are adding into the pipeline, then on the fault tolerance and as well as on the performance side, this would be a bit of option to go for the new pipeline. And it's very easy to create and manage to, and you have an option to select the limited set of tasks if you want to exclude some of the tasks to while execution. So yeah, that's definitely, this would be the primary use case which you can check for going for it, and definitely try it out for. Yeah.
Thanks, Jinesh. Next is, what are the different AI agents planned in DataOps?
Coming to AI agents, so we are planning to publish like 7-8 agents where these agents help the end user in generating SQLs, code, and mapping manager and rule generation. So to be precise, we call this like SQL agent, code agent, and rule agent, and mapping manager agents. So each feature is an agent we are about to develop.
Great, thanks. So I believe we have ended our questions section. We don't have any more questions. Now with this, I would like to thank Jinesh and Ramesh for a walkthrough you gave us with new features in Datagaps DataOps Suite and insights into how the new features can accelerate pipelines, strengthen governance, and ensure trusted analytics. A recording of today's session will be shared, and our team is available to answer any follow-up questions. You can have more details from support by writing to us at support@datagaps.com. And if you want to download the release notes, you can scan this QR code which is available on the screen as well, and you will be directed to the link where the release notes are available, and you can even view and download both. And now I would like to thank on behalf of Datagaps we truly appreciate your time and look forward to helping you achieve more with DataOps Suite 2025. .3.0.0 and in the upcoming versions that we will be arranging maybe in next quarter. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Thanks, Jinesh and Ramesh.
Thanks everyone.
For further questions, feel free to reach contact@datagaps.com. Scan the below QR code for free demo. Thank you.